My name is Ashley, and I'm 22 years old, and I'm a registered practical nurse. I graduated from Loyalist College in 2016 and became registered in November of 2016 as well. So I've only been a nurse for just shy of 2 years. What made me want to get into the healthcare field was that my grandmother was a healthcare aide back when she turned 40. Actually, she went back to school with 3 kids and put herself through college with the help of my grandfather and became a healthcare aide. And then she dedicated her life to McQuigg Lodge. And I actually kind of grew up at McQuigg Lodge. I vividly remember going there for Christmas parties. Whenever my grandmother would work her weekend of evenings, we would go on her lunch hour. And we also became really close with a lot of the residents there and a lot of the other workers there. Going into college, I knew pretty much 95% sure I was going to end up in long-term care just because I loved it so much when I was a kid, and the elderly really do need help. So what makes me a good nurse? You can ask any nurse and she'll say she's not the greatest nurse, that she'll compare herself to a gazillion other nurses and think what they do is better and want to base themselves off of. So what I've been told, what makes me a great nurse, is my optimism, which is something that I don't often do in my personal life anymore. So to hear that I can still do that professionally and to care for residents in that way is really, really helpful. Being open to communication is also a really, really important part of being a nurse, constantly being in communication with your team. So a good value to have is responsibility and integrity and knowing how to stay on top of things and staying ahead of the game, being proactive. But a good nurse needs to just notice and be aware and be proactive and be truthful and trust your gut. Has there ever been a situation where I've had to go against my values or my ethics? So there's been plenty of times where I have a different opinion than a family member, or a different opinion than a staff member, different opinion than the resident themselves. And I've had to put that all aside and completely go with what the resident wants. I think long-term care also has some of the biggest ethical and value questioning, self-questioning questions and situations than any other part of healthcare. Also haven't worked in other parts of healthcare, so I'm kind of biased in that way, but there's many, many situations that arise, especially, if a resident can't give consent, you have to go to the family, but how do you know the family is really working in the best interest of the resident anymore? It's hard. Nursing is hard, especially when you yourself have so many beliefs and values, and then you come across people that you probably never would have met any other way, and they have different experiences, different beliefs. It's the differences. But nursing is the best to become very aware of those differences. It's what makes people great. And it's helped me reflect on that a lot too. Nursing doesn't just help other people, it also helps the nurse as well. Thank you, Brianna, for asking me to do this. I was very flattered and honored, and thank you everyone for listening. Hopefully I gave you the information you were looking for and didn't ramble too much. Thank you.